So now coming to the definition of double displacement reaction, it's a chemical reaction in which both the reactants will decompose to give the new products by exchanging their radicals. Okay, let me tell you what exactly radical means. Okay, so radicals are a group of atoms which will exhibit the similar valency. For example, you can consider sulfate, SO4. Sulfur and oxygen together will exhibit a valency of -2, and if you consider a carbonate radical, which is a CO3, carbon and oxygen together will exhibit a valency of -2. Like this, a group of atoms together, if they are showing a similar valency, you can call them as radical. Okay, and this chlorine -1 or sodium Na+1, these also you can consider them as ions or a positive or a negative radical. Okay, fine. So this is all about radicals. So now coming to double displacement, so consider there is a substance called AB. As we are talking about exchange of radicals between two reactants, we shall represent their charges as well. So A plus and B minus. Okay, why I wrote like this, you understood, right? So we can write NaCl as Na plus and Cl minus, right? So like that I am representing this. And consider there is another compound called C plus and D minus. So according to definition, what happens? The compounds are going to exchange their radicals. So what happens? A plus and D minus. A is gonna combine with D and C is gonna combine with B. C plus and B minus. Okay, so this is how the exchange of radicals is happening between both the compounds. So now let us try to understand this by considering an example. So in place of AB, we will take NaOH, which is a base. So how can we represent? Na plus OH minus, correct? And in place of Cl, we can take HCl, which is a hydrochloric acid. So this also we can represent like H plus and Cl minus, right? So according to definition, what will happen? The radicals gets exchanged between these two compounds. So Na is gonna combine with Cl and this H is gonna combine with OH. So what will be the product? Na plus Cl, you will get one salt, which is sodium chloride, right? And H is gonna combine with OH. So you will get H2O, which is a water, correct? So this kind of reaction where on combination of acid and base, which is giving you a salt and water, you can call this as a neutralization reaction. Okay, so now let us consider another example where NaCl is combining with the silver nitrate, which is AgNO3. So according to this definition, what happens? Na will combine with NO3 nitrate radical, and this Ag, which is nothing but a silver, will combine with the chloride radical. So now let us write the product. It is NaNO3 plus AgCl. AgCl, which is produced as a precipitate, so it can be represented in the downward arrow mark. So this kind of reaction wherein which the insoluble precipitates are formed are termed to as precipitation reaction. Okay, so this is all about double displacement reaction. So let us start with the endothermic reactions. So endothermic reactions are nothing but if any chemical reactions, if they proceed with the absorption of energy, then those can be called as endothermic reactions. You can see the example of nitrogen and oxygen being combined to form nitrogen oxide on supply of 3000 degrees Celsius. Okay, and this endothermic reaction can be represented with a minus upper triangle. Okay, so this is all about endothermic reactions. The next is exothermic reactions. Exothermic reactions are nothing but if a reaction proceeds with evolution of energy, then that reaction is termed as exothermic reaction. For example, you can consider this: when calcium oxide is mixed with water, you can see calcium hydroxide is formed along with the liberation of enormous amount of energy, and this exothermic can be represented with plus and upper triangle. Okay, So this is all about exothermic reactions. So now coming to oxidation and reduction, let me tell you there are like few conditions on which we tell oxidation has happened or reduction has happened. So which are all those conditions? The first one is, if for any chemical reaction, if there is an addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen, or if there is a loss of electrons from that chemical reaction, you can call that as an oxidation. And reduction is vice versa of this, like where there is if there is a removal of oxygen and addition of hydrogen, and if there is a gain of electrons, you can call that as a reduction. So now let us understand this by considering few examples. So now let us understand what exactly oxidation means and what exactly reduction means by considering few examples. So as I already told you before, oxidation refers to the addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen or a loss of electrons, and meanwhile reduction refers to addition of hydrogen, removal of oxygen and a gain of electrons. Okay, so you can see this example where the copper, when oxygen being added, the copper is being oxidized to copper oxide. Okay, so this, the carbon has gained oxygen, so thus you can call this as oxidation, which means the copper has undergone oxidation. The next is removal of hydrogen. In this example, if you see, H2S when combined with chlorine, it is giving HCl plus S, right? So from this component of H2S, you can see that hydrogen has been removed and sulfur alone is formed in its elemental form. So there is a removal of hydrogen from its compound, hence you can call this also as an oxidation. And next, in this example, if you see iron, when it is losing its 2 electrons, it is converting into its ionic form. So here if you consider, there is a loss of electrons. This iron is losing 2 electrons, hence it is converting to its ionic form. Okay, so this also you can call it as an oxidation. Okay, and now coming to the reduction, if you see this example, the addition of hydrogen is called as a reduction, right? So chlorine when combined with H2S, it is giving you HCl plus sulfur, correct? You can see this, the chlorine has been reduced to HCl, which means the hydrogen has been added to this chlorine, hence this also you can call it as a reduction. So now coming to the second point of removal of oxygen, here you can see that the copper oxide has been reduced to its copper form, which means the oxygen has been removed from its compound, hence the elemental copper is formed in the product. So this is also you can call it as a reduction. Okay, and last point is that gain of electrons. You can see that Fe3 plus ion is gaining 1 electron, and thus it has been reduced to its ionic form of Fe2 plus. So this also you can call it as a reduction. So this is all about oxidation and reduction reaction. Now let us study about redox reaction. So now coming to the redox reaction, what exactly it means? You studied about oxidation and reduction, right? So the redox reaction is a chemical reaction in which both oxidation and reduction occur simultaneously. So if you consider this example, you can see that CuO, it's a copper oxide, is being reduced to copper. Here there is a removal of oxygen, right? So you can write that this copper oxide is being reduced. So this is a reduction reaction, correct? Because oxygen has been removed here. And now if you see this hydrogen is being added with the oxygen. So if there is an addition of oxygen, what can you call it as? You can call it as oxidation, right? So hydrogen is undergoing oxidation and CO is undergoing reduction. So this reaction in which oxidation and reduction is happening simultaneously, you can call this as a redox reaction. And another thing is that the agent which causes the reduction, you can call it as a reducing agent, and the agent or a chemical substance which causes oxidation, you can call it as a oxidizing agent. And one more important thing is that the reducing agents will always undergo oxidation and oxidizing agents will always undergo reduction. This you have to remember. Okay, so this is all about redox reaction. So now let us discuss about oxidation effects in our day-to-day life. So they have given two main important effects, one being corrosion and the second being rancidity. Yes, so what is corrosion then? So you would have seen that in your day-to-day life, the iron or other metals which are kept outside the house or more exposed to moisture or other external factors will change their color apparently, right? So this process where the metals are getting corroded, you can call it as a corrosion. For example, a black coating on a silver or a greenish coating on a copper and a reddish brown color on a iron which you call it as a rust. These are all the examples for the corrosion. The second effect is rancidity. Have you ever tasted or smelled the fats or oils which has been kept for a longer time? Actually what happens is the fats or the oils which have been kept for a longer time gets oxidized and their smell and taste gets changed. So this condition you call it as a rancidity. And the substances which will prevent this oxidation are called as antioxidants. You might have observed that the chips bag would be filled with the nitrogen gas, right? So that acts as an antioxidant in order to prevent this rancidity. Okay, this is all about the effects of oxidation in your day-to-day life. So this ends the chapter. I hope you would have found this video useful. Subscribe to the channel, also press the bell icon. Thanks for watching.